So basically for your pancakes, you typically have your dry mix and your wet mix. So I want to go ahead and get started with our dry mix. 2 cups all-purpose flour, or 250 grams. And then 1 cup of whole wheat flour, which is 150 grams. Here I'm just sifting the flours. 13 grams of baking soda, or 2.5 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons baking powder. Going in. Having added our baking soda and baking powder, I'm now going to add the cane sugar, 18 grams. All right, so we've got our dry mix here. We're weighing the dry mix and the wet mix separately because if you try and do them at the same time, you're gonna make a mess. It's gonna be all lumpy. I'm gonna grab my whisk. I've got the dry mix all measured out. I'm gonna grab another large bowl. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure out our wet ingredients. Got the buttermilk here, 2 cups or 480 grams. The whole milk, 3/4 of a cup or 124 grams. Next up, the sour cream, 3/4 cup or 190 grams. Sour cream is in. We also need our lemon juice and our lemon zest and our vanilla extract or paste. Okay, so I'm adding 2 grams of lemon zest. Just a little squeeze of lemon juice. 4 grams. Dunzo. Our vanilla paste. Now the vanilla is very powerful, so I'm just gonna add just a little. All right, so we've got our dry mix and we've got our wet mix. There's one more thing, a special procedure that we have to do for the wet mix. Actually 2. We need to melt some butter and incorporate that into the wet mix. The butter will add richness, of course, but it'll also promote browning in the pancakes. The second one being the separation of the white from the yolk. So I'm just gonna whisk the egg whites. That's ready to rock. So I'm just gonna whisk in those egg yolks along with the melted butter. In the case of batters, I prefer to add the dry to the wet. Now, it's very important that we do not overmix our batter. We want to break out any lumps, in my opinion, for the pancakes. It's okay if you have a few, but it's equally important that you do not overwork this batter. You don't want to develop the gluten. All right. Now, we still have our egg whites to incorporate. We'll take a page out of the book when we're making our souffle or our macarons and just add a little bit of egg white and beat that in to lighten this mixture. We have our batter. About the vids, more chat interactions rather than recaps. Also, I love Bon Appetit with Brad. Yeah, he's good. Funny, silly edits of dinosaurs are awesome. Okay, cool. I will inform Steve that we need more dinosaurs. Just a minute, kids. I need to check the temperature of my pan with this infrared thermometer. Say that's it. Did you say bourbon maple syrup, Chris? Yes. On this. What does the sour cream do in terms of flavor? It does 2 things. It's gonna add that richness and a little bit of aeration, kind of fluffiness to the texture of that wet mix, but also it's acidic, so it's gonna react with the baking soda. Boom, 2 pats of butter. You can see just how aerated that is. We got this nice crumb going on in there. And it's almost like a candy syrup. Look at that. It's so good. Yes. The cardamom comes through. That bourbon maple syrup is outrageous. I love these pancakes. Make these pancakes for your friends. Make these pancakes for your family. Or if you're solo dolo, just make them for yourself.